Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. If idiocy were electricity, Fox News could power our continent. The conservative Fox hosts are the tireless dynamos of delusion, churning out sparks of ignorance day and night. Chief among these is Harris Faulkner, a woman who speaks as though the sound of her own voice were proof of divine revelation, a broadcaster for whom the difference between knowledge and noise is a mystery. On a recent broadcast, however, Faulkner, while spewing out GOP talking points, got humiliated.
I think it should really be referred to as the Republicant Party, because all they talk about is what they can't do. They can't reopen the government. They can't find a way to feed poor people.
Wait a minute. You do understand that they gave a House passed, and you know one of the hardest places on the planet to get something passed is in the House.
Faulkner pointed to the Republican government funding bill that ends health care tax subsidies and insisted Democrats should be blamed for the government shutdown. Faulkner also raised migrant deportations. Democrat Dan spoke up again.
But Republicans really, they control all three branches of government. They own the shutdown. There's no question about it. And as far as immigration goes, I have a friend who is in the process of legally becoming a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. He has filed the right paperwork. He has gone to all the appointments. He's done everything he has to do. He is so terrified of being picked up and thrown in detention by ICE that he is basically just going back to Brazil. Yep. That is not where we should be. And this plays into the affordability crisis. This city and all cities and all parts of the American economy run on the kinds of typically cheaper labor that immigrants provide to us. The prices of everything go up when the labor prices go up. And we are removing a really important part of the pathway to becoming part of this country when we terrify communities of immigrants. We should be doing it.
After getting pummeled on the deportations, Faulkner tried to pivot back to the government shutdown. She said Democrats are going to make health care even worse if they keep digging in on Affordable Care Act subsidies that are due to expire at the end of the year.
And so if Democrats step in and give this, they still have a little bit of time before that original document even runs out. I mean, you think people are hurting now. Let it go till Christmas. Like, it's time for them to step up. And if you want to see them be those adults in the room, maybe they could choose now.
But if they step up, then we lose health care. And that's a death-dealing policy.
You're not going to lose health care. Health care was going up on its own.
For millions of people.
That voter named Amanda is correct. Again, Amanda pointed out that millions will lose health insurance if the Republican proposals become law. Faulkner snapped back with, "You're not going to lose health care. Health care was going up on its own." That line is of such perfect stupidity that it deserves to be inscribed above the entrance of the Fox News headquarters. Here was Harris Faulkner, a woman with a national platform handsomely paid to interpret public affairs, demonstrating less grasp of economics than a high school sophomore who was half awake in civics class. Faulkner's performance was not just merely ignorant, it was malicious. Faulkner did not err out of confusion, she erred out of will. The facts are available. The Congressional Budget Office and the Urban Institute both project that millions of people will lose insurance if the subsidies expire, with premiums doubling for many who remain. But facts in the Fox Catechism are heresy. To acknowledge them would be to betray the faith, the sacred dogma that Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are forever righteous, and Fox itself is the burning bush of truth. So Harris Faulkner did what every third-rate propagandist does when cornered by reality. She barked, she deflected, and she tried to shout the truth out of the room. Republicans have passed a clean resolution, said Faulkner. Jay, another Democratic voter, also refused to bow.
First and foremost, I do not think that that is a genuine argument, simply because their argument is that they want to pass a clean budget reconciliation bill. Mm-hmm. The last time that happened was in 2012. That's not a real thing that happens. This is a body that's designed for compromise. As someone who worked on the Hill, we have to be communicating. You don't just get to say, I passed this bill, and we're going to go into recess and never come back.
Let me ask you
because
this.
we want to fight this argument.
So Democrats now have done what you said, okay? And they came to the table, they said, look, we want to talk about health care. And one of the sticking points in there are the millions of dollars that we know go to those illegal aliens. And look, Dan, you bring up that some of them are here and they're waiting for their paperwork. Well, how long have they been here?
That is
and
not
that's
true,
what the government. But let me ask you.
That is not true, said Jay. Yes, that voter showed more determination and respect for the truth about health care coverage than most mainstream broadcast journalists. Jay kept on going on the Affordable Care Act and Faulkner's GOP talking points about illegal immigrants. And for a brief, shining moment, the Fox News deception machine got jammed.
Okay, so first of all, the Affordable Care Act specifically does not provide funding to people who are not here and legally here for citizenship. It specifically says that in the actual law.
And you don't think that that's happening?
Okay.
And so the anecdotal
So wait. So if that's the case,
confirmations
then, right,
of that don't count.
If that's the case, right, then that's where the DOJ is supposed to bring charges against whoever is doing that. Now, on top of that, using this, because the government could, the president could have allocated funds to continue SNAP. There was money that has been put aside for this that he did.
Well, that's what he's talking about right now. And the earliest that I understand it can be paid is Wednesday.
He could have already done it. He deleted it from the website.
One point.
And that was Amanda again, noting the Trump administration deleted food stamps from the website, even though funding has already been allocated for food stamps. Amanda, Jay, and Dan corrected, shamed, and humiliated Harris Faulkner on her own live television show. Faulkner, of course, will recover. Fox News thrives on ignorance as a vampire thrives on blood. Tomorrow, Faulkner will return to her pulpit, powdered and poised, reciting the same undead talking points that passed for thought in that ghastly temple of misinformation. The MAGA Trump audience will nod, glassy-eyed, as Faulkner assures them that losing health care is actually freedom, that poverty is a form of patriotism, and that the poor should simply learn to eat less or become rich. But the moment cannot be undone. Millions of us saw it. Harris Faulkner, a Fox News priestess of propaganda, was undone by ordinary citizens who still believe in the arithmetic of truth. It was the eternal American miracle, the yokel outwitting the preacher, the student humbling the master, the plain voter piercing through a billion-dollar Fox News fog of deceit. Harris Faulkner and her fellow clowns will never understand it, but democracy depends on such humiliations. Every time a citizen like Amanda, Jay, and Dan dare to speak truth to stupidity, the Republic breathes again. And every time a Fox host like Faulkner snarls at the facts, America is reminded that ignorance, loud, proud, and well-groomed, is still our most abundant natural resource. However, on occasion, the GOP ignorance gets shredded. The facts and the truth win out. And the break from GOP propaganda and nonsense on Fox News reminds us that all is not lost, at least not yet. By the way, Donald Trump is imploding as his approval ratings plunge to record lows.
37% of Americans in our poll approve of the job Trump is doing. 63% disapprove.
Trump doesn't have a majority approval on a single issue measured in this poll. Everything from tariffs and the economy to foreign relations and immigration.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular from White, who wrote, "Wow, imagine that when you starve children, people don't like you." Indeed. I look forward to reading your comments about Fox News host Harris Faulkner defending Donald Trump and having Democratic voters humiliate and shame Faulkner to her face on live TV. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.